There were kid shows that were fun, there were kid shows that were dumb, and then there were the ones that made the world feel slightly off. Not full horror, not trauma, just enough weirdness to get into your head and stay there. The kind of shows that made you look at ordinary places differently. A neighbor's house, the dogs, a patch of woods. Suddenly, none of it felt completely innocent anymore. And as a kid, that was magic. I can't even remember how many times me and my friends went out basically looking for the weird, spying on neighbors, hanging around near the docks, hoping something strange would happen. Walking near the riverside woodlands with that quiet little hope that maybe, just maybe, we'd finally come across something that didn't add up. That feeling didn't come out of nowhere. A lot of it came from television. Of course it did. And for me, three shows nailed that strange childhood mood better than anything else. But what made them great is that they didn't all do the same thing. They were weird for sure, they were all memorable, absolutely, but each one got under your skin in a completely different way. Let's start with the first one, and that would be Erie, Indiana. This one took me a while to get into. At first, I remember not really loving it, and looking back, that makes total sense because Erie, Indiana doesn't try to win you over like a normal kid show. It feels much colder than that, stranger, like it's asking you to settle into a place where something is clearly wrong, but nobody's going to explain it to you properly. That's what makes it different. Erie, Indiana isn't really about jump scares or monsters, it's about suspicion. It makes normal life feel untrustworthy. And that's the whole genius of it. The streets, they look normal, the houses look normal, the whole town looks normal. But underneath all of that, there's this constant sense that something is off, like the suburb itself is hiding secrets. And that's such a specific childhood fear. Because when you're young, adults are always acting like everything is fine. Everything makes sense. Nothing weird is going on. And Erie, Indiana quietly says, no, 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 no. There's definitely some weird stuff going on everywhere. You're not imagining it. That's why it works. Once I clicked with it, I started to appreciate that it wasn't trying to be loud and obnoxious. It was making the ordinary feel suspicious. It was saying the weird thing might not be some faraway haunted castle, it might just be next door. That's what stayed with me. And then, of course, we have Goosebumps. Everybody knows Goosebumps, and I think a lot of people actually love Goosebumps. And honestly, I think I'm more of a Goosebumps fan than I even realized because a few years ago I started collecting the books and now I've got quite a few of them. So clearly, this thing had more of a hold on me than I thought. What Goosebumps did differently was simple it made fear fun. This one wasn't about subtle suspicion like Erie, Indiana was. It was more direct, much more direct. A creepy mask, an evil dummy, a haunted camera, a normal object with something weird or something wrong attached to it. That's why it worked so well for kids. It gave you fear that was manageable. It gave you fear in manageable doses, I should say. Not just full horror, not anything too heavy, just enough menace to make your imagination light up. It was basically horror with training wheels still on, and that's a brilliant lane if you ask me. Because as a kid, that's exactly what you want. You want the thrill of danger, but in a form you can handle. You want to feel brave for watching it. And Goosebumps understood that perfectly. It took everyday things and gave them a creepy twist. That's such an effective formula because it follows you back into real life. After enough Goosebumps, an attic feels different, a weird toy feels different, a strange house feels completely different. You start looking at normal objects like they might be planning something crazy. And that's not subtle, it's not elegant, but it definitely works. And apparently, it worked so well on me that years later, I'm collecting the books like some kind of spooky hoarder with a reading habit. So, yeah, Goosebumps should definitely be in my top three. And then there's Round the Twist. This one is different again because Round the Twist wasn't just creepy and it wasn't really about suspicion either. Its real power was that it made reality feel unstable. Before I even think of a specific episode, I think of the intro. That intro alone told you normal rules were gone. Whatever was about to happen, it probably wasn't going to be neat or logical or emotionally healthy. And that's why the show sticks. Round the Twist had that strange, chaotic, almost dreamlike quality where anything could happen, and it didn't always need to make clean sense. It could be funny or gross and awkward or surreal, creepy even, and ridiculous all at once. That's a totally different flavor of weird. It's not the paranoia of Erie, Indiana. It's not simple spooky of Goosebumps. It's more like the world itself has slipped slightly off its hinges. And as a kid, that kind of thing was powerful because children are actually very comfortable with the weirdness. Adults want everything tidy and explained. Kids are much more open to stories and just feel, bizarre and live on pure atmosphere, really. You know? That's why Round the Twist stays in your head. Not because every detail is easy to remember, because it definitely isn't. It definitely wasn't. But because the whole thing had that, what the hell was that even energy? And I mean that as praise, I really do. It felt like the sort of show where the universe itself might just decide to get strange for half an hour, just because it can. That's a really rare vibe, a really rare atmosphere for a TV show. That's why these three shows stayed with me. Not just because they were eerie, but because they each unlocked a different kind of childhood weirdness. Eerie, Indiana made you suspicious of normal life. Goosebumps made fear exciting and portable. Round the Twist made the whole world feel like it might suddenly turn bizarre for no reason at all. That's a great trio. And together, they explain something I still love about old kids' television. It trusted strange moods, it trusted atmosphere, it didn't always need to flatten everything into clean jokes or safe lessons. Sometimes it was enough to just leave you with a feeling, and that feeling followed you outside, into the woods, onto the docks, past your neighbor's house, into those little adventures where you and your friends were half pretending, half believing, and secretly hoping something weird might actually happen. That's what I remember most. Not the plots, not the lessons, definitely not the lessons, not even the episodes really. Just that feeling that the world had hidden corners. And honestly, that might even be the best thing creepy childhood television ever gave us.